Kev, another long away trip to look forward to this weekend as we head to York City, the scene of a great away day last season, of course. How do you go about trying to replicate that on Saturday?
Yeah, as you say, it's good memories from last year, but it's completely different as it is with every team, really. So no, just looking for a level of performance again that hopefully we can produce as we did at Halifax. But knowing it's going to be a tough game, new manager going in, Neil's a top man and a very, very good coach and manager. So they'll be on an upward curve pretty soon, I'd imagine. But we've got to be at the best of our game to get a result.
Just looking at a little bit more generally speaking, for the next 3 weeks or so, you look at the fixture schedule, and I think it's about 7 games in the next 3 weeks, 3 Tuesday nights to come as well for such a small squad. Is that going to be a test for you?
Yeah, I think that goes without saying. I think when you look back at the weekend, and I think there's a bit of disappointment over not winning it because of the situation we got ourselves in, but to go to a team that were 5th when we should have been, really, but to go a team in the playoffs, dominate the game and do that without having signed a player in over a year, and with the squad we've got, is testament to the players and everyone around the place that we can go and do that and hit the levels that we did. So so many positives to take from that, but we've got to pick ourselves up and go again, and as you say, a lot of games coming up in a short space of time, but we focus on Saturday and take care of what comes after that then.
You must be so proud of what the players are producing for you. Every game we've sort of been in, haven't we? Even the ones that we have lost, and they've been close games, and playing some really good football as well with such a short pre-season. We don't want to sort of dwell on the past too much, but just in terms of how proud you are, you must be so proud of them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it's you don't want to dwell on it, but it's a fact of what's gone on here and what we've had to deal with, and I think that's a reminder for when people might get a little bit frustrated in terms of games that they think we should have won. So yeah, delighted with how everyone's applied themselves and how they've gone about their business, and we go into each game and we try and win games. I look back at the first 8 and maybe only a couple of halves of football where we haven't really been at it, and that's a good sign.
Yeah, and you've touched upon Saturday's game at York City. It's going to be a tough one, despite obviously where they are in the league, and new manager's gone in there. He knows what this division's all about, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly. I know Neil quite well and come up against his teams, and they've always been good games whenever we've come up against them. And when you get a good manager going into a team with good players and decent budget, and it makes for what will be a strong team going forward. And I think there's no doubt about that. And once he gets them playing the way he wants to, then they'll be a force.
Just finally for me, I've got to ask a little bit of team news wise, because obviously Ralph had come off as skipper last weekend. How's he done this week? Yeah,
we had a bit of rest earlier in the week, so that was the same for everyone, and we'll see how he is for Saturday. Obviously he had to come off, but hopefully it wasn't as bad as first thought, but it's something we're monitoring as we go.
Cheers, thank you.
Kev, we've mentioned there the sheer amount of games you've got to play in a short space of time coming up. Have you mentioned anything in particular to Jack Wood, likes of Jack Wood, Ollie Coker, that they're going to have a chance to play a few more minutes?
I think that goes without saying that everyone's going to be needed. Where we've gone, Saturdays to Saturday, it hasn't been too bad, but coming up we know the squad's going to be needed, or what we've got of a squad. So I think I don't need to sit them down and talk them too much. They're involved in everything we do, so I think that goes for everyone.
It seems one player every match is picking up something towards the end of the game. Are you trying out different styles, different formations, or is that not something you're looking at the moment?
No, we tweak things during games. In terms of formations, most of the clubs would have worked on stuff during pre-season. We haven't been able to do that, so we've gone with what we've. And I think when you look at the start of the season, the games we've had, Oldham early on, Dagenham, people would have said, "Oh, they look like a team and know what they're doing." So you haven't got to fix. If it's not broken, you ain't got to fix too much. So we've been all right in terms of what we can do in training. That's limited because of the numbers. So there's things we tweak all the time. It doesn't mean you have to rip it apart.
And going back to York, did the league double over them, and then the week after lost in the FA Trophy? Is that kind of a little extra incentive, or does that mean nothing to you?
No, that don't mean nothing. No, next game's the most important one.
Both 2-0 wins though, so that's something you'll look to replicate.
Yes, yeah, we'd love that, obviously, but we've got an opponent to come up against, and they're trying to win a football match as well.
Everyone else looking okay apart from Nathan Ralph as well?
Fingers crossed. There's 1 or 2 bumps and bruises that we're monitoring, and we'll know more tomorrow.
That's good.
Cheers.
No, how do you keep going? I've never known a manager that's had so much thrown at them in such a short space of time. What does sort of keep you going? Is it sort of family and friends away from the place?
I think so. Yeah, it's difficult because when you think you're getting a bit of thing, then you get hit with something else, and you know it's all the bits and pieces people probably don't see on a day-to-day basis that you've got to deal with. That is the frustrating thing. But yes, with the brilliant staff we've got, the players who come and when they train, they just want to play football, and what they've done is next to incredible. I keep saying, I want to go back to it. It's a miracle that we're in a position that we should be fifth, and that's with a squad of 15 players. Haven't signed anyone in over a year. Haven't had a pre-season, a proper full pre-season. Haven't trained at the training ground because there's no water at times. So all of that added into the mix, and that's for the players to still go and perform the way they have is unbelievable, and that should be shouted from the rooftops.